Distractions have such a bad reputation. Google it real quick. I bet most of the hits are websites offering you tips on how to be more productive or get rid of distractions. And honestly, some of that bad press is warranted. Constant distractions have the power to destroy productivity of individuals and businesses alike, costing American companies an estimated $650 billion a year. But in this brain snack, we'll see how certain types of distractions employed strategically during certain types of tasks can actually boost your productivity, creativity, and ability to solve problems. The human attention span is not that long, averaging about 10 minutes in most adults, and as most teachers like myself can tell you, much shorter than that in kids. And this is the case worldwide, irrespective of access to technology. It seems then that we're naturally wired to get distracted. After about 10 minutes of intense focus on anything, our brains seem to be itching for something else to do. Now, researchers have been studying the science of attention and distractions for over 50 years now, and we still have no clue why the 10-minute rule exists, but what we have been able to uncover are some pretty interesting distinctions between healthy distractions that boost our cognitive resources and the addictive kind that zap our time and attention. Imagine you give two groups of people a puzzle to solve. Here's an example of the type of puzzle that you might give them. Now, you give both groups the same amount of time to solve it, but you make them spend that time in different ways. One group is told to spend all their time trying to solve this puzzle, while the other group is instructed to work as hard as they can for 20 minutes, take a 5-minute break, and then resume working. Dozens of experiments like this one prove that break to be invaluable to the problem-solving process, as participants are much more likely to arrive at a solution after it. Scientists refer to this period of planned distraction as incubation, because even though the person is consciously focused on something else, there's evidence that their minds continue to work on this problem in the background, slowly creeping towards a solution. During incubation, the brain seems to internally reorganize pieces of that puzzle, trying out different solutions offline. Incubation, or Instagram breaks, pull you away from the problem, creating enough mental space for your brain to do some really powerful things. For one, incubation helps you see the bigger picture more clearly. We process details and logistics in one part of our brains and general holistic information in another. Breaks help broaden your perceptual range and make it more likely that you'll take a whole brain view of the problem and its solution. Distraction breaks also give you an opportunity to relax. Literally, to ease any psychological and even physical tension that might be preventing you from being most effective at your work. Lastly, evidence suggests that during incubation, our brains go in detective mode. In this state of heightened sensory sensitivity, the brain picks up clues from your environment, helping you literally and figuratively see things that you otherwise wouldn't see. So ultimately, and ironically, distraction breaks help you get out of your own way, helps you shed fixed ideas that you have about a problem, and helps you ramp up the cognitive resources that you need to solve it. For these reasons, companies and individuals that are serious about productivity should be intentional about the following things. 1. Taking distraction breaks. When you're carving out time to study or write or do any kind of complex work, structure that time so that it includes time for distraction. But the key word here is structure. Your phone buzzing every 10 seconds isn't structured, or healthy, or helpful. Unintentional distractions really do destroy attention and productivity, and these should be limited as much as possible. Number 2, the length of distraction breaks. Obviously, your break time shouldn't be longer than your work time. Researchers have tried to pinpoint a magic number, but there isn't one, simply because people and the work that they do are also different and unique. Longer periods of incubation, about 20 minutes, do seem to be more effective than shorter ones. But again, it depends on the person and the work they're doing. Similarly, breaks taken too soon or too frequently confer little to no benefit on productivity. During that study, when researchers simply shifted the break to be closer to the beginning of work time, they found that there was no significant difference in the problem-solving abilities between the two groups. The key here is to get your mind as worked up as possible, to reach frustrating dead ends, tough corners, rough patches, to wring your mental muscles so tight that there's a clear and stark difference between the challenge of your work and the ease of your break. The magic of distractions lie in the relief of this tension. It's sort of like a rubber band. You pop one and the vibrations continue to run throughout the band for a short time after. And the more tension originally on that band, the stronger and longer the vibrations. Similarly, stepping away from mentally exhausting work sufficiently motivates the brain to keep the vibrations going offline. And the harder the work, the more the mental vibrations. So take a 7 to 20 minute distraction break after extended periods of tough mental work for the maximum benefit. Lastly, what you do during distraction breaks does seem to matter. A meta-analysis of hundreds of studies taken over more than 5 decades has shown that distractions generally fall into 3 categories: relaxing breaks, mild activity, and highly engaging activities. Relaxing breaks involve very little cognitive effort and include things like meditating, listening to music, and daydreaming. Mild activity breaks include things like scrolling through your timeline, reading a book, or taking a walk. Watching TV or talking with your friends fall somewhere in the middle of these two, depending on the nature of the show or the conversation you're having. And highly engaging activities like doing homework or journaling or having an intense Facebook debate require much more cognitive resources, but are still considered distractions because they take your attention away from your current task. Studies show that for math and highly analytical problems or work, the best kind of distraction breaks are any of these three. Each kind of break produces significant benefit to problem solving. For linguistic work like writing an essay or solving a word problem, the distractions that produced the largest effect were mild activities. Daydreaming was the most consistently effective distraction for boosting both creative and analytical performance after breaks. So definitely don't quit your daydream. Now, what makes research on distractions so tough is the fact that you're so unique. And the work that you do probably is too. What's light work to one person might send another person's brain into overdrive. Ultimately, it's about finding what works best for you, your brain, and the incredible things you force it to do. Now, a quick word about using social media as a distraction. Honestly, it's a slippery slope. You don't need a brain snack to tell you that social media is highly addictive, mainly because our brains are wired so strongly for social interactions. All the bells and whistles of likes and comments and friend requests excite the brain in powerful and lingering ways. A real quick and passive stroll on your IG may not hurt much, but you absolutely shouldn't get back to your desk thinking about this dumb comment somebody made or wondering if your picture got more than 11 likes. You shouldn't return from a distraction break and still be distracted, which is absolutely what social media has the power to do. Now, you may think you have the power to control this, and listen, you might be right, but willpower is a cognitive resource. And if you're using it to control your urge to check your phone, you're robbing yourself of that resource to do your best work. Now, if social media isn't a big deal to you, then by all means, use its incredibly rewarding and relaxing power to boost your brain. The chances are you're better off playing Candy Crush during your distraction break or watching my next brain snack.